and support begins in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Nurture and Support. I am Mel at Karmic9.
This is Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram.
Thank you guys again for having me on. I am Dr. Mike, everybody, at Official Pagan on everything, and day one supporter, so it's great to be back again. I say that to make sure that everybody understands I'm better than them because I was listening from the first episode.
You may be our only listener, but hey.
Does it count that I listen to it when I edit it? Does that count as I guess probably.
I think it does.
Yeah,
we'll
say
Wait, do you not go back and listen to your own podcast, Kelly?
I just edited it. So
right. He already knows what happens. One, he was there. Two, he edited it.
I relived it, in a series of pauses as I take out all of my repeated words and everything. So on occasion, I do listen to mine, but I'm much more, once is usually enough. So, hey, like and subscribe, folks, if you get a chance on our YouTube channel or on Google Play or Stitcher or wherever you like. We'd really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, follow, do everything, favorite, whatever you can do to it, please.
Share, all that cool stuff.
Yeah. Hey, have you ever looked at the Nurture and Support Twitter account, Mel?
It's been a while, I'll admit it.
Yeah, me too. We should probably fix that. Don't tweet to us. Tweet at our handles for now, because we got to see if we remember the password and stuff. So.
Yeah, we're bad podcasters. I think we had our Tumblr anniversary recently. I think I got an email for that, but that automatically updates every time a blog post goes up. So we're on Tumblr.
And Tumblr too. What do you do on Tumblr? Is it a favorite, a like, a subscribe, a follow? What's the connecting?
You follow people on Tumblr. Yeah.
You link to their Pornhub pages.
Well, I think they got rid of all the porn on Tumblr a while back, and so subscribership
That's why I was surprised. You said you guys are on Tumblr.
Right. So yeah, it's still there. I think.
Yeah, and America Online. We're huge on America Online.
Yeah, we are. Hey, I have had a real uptick in people giving me AOL email addresses to contact them. So, AOL is still, at least in email form, is still out there. There are still hordes of people with AOL email addresses. So I find that bizarre, but I deal with that at my job.
I'm still working my way through my free minutes discs.
And when you get done with them, you can make some nice tree art outside your office building.
You could do one of your many rooms in the compound, Mike, and do it all in AOL CDs. That would be...
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Or the 3.5-inch diskettes. And I have a big start for you if you want to start to glue those bad boys up to the wall. That'd be a conversation starter.
That could work. So are we going to get into recommendations now?
Yeah, I was going to thank everybody for listening, but yeah, probably
okay.
Say, and then wrap the show up. But
right.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some recommendations. So
we'll do a quick recommendation here. So I have a really quick one that I have a definite love-hate relationship with. It's an app or a game, I should say.
Oh,
available.
I thought it was Mike.
That would be you.
Oh.
I love Mike.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mel. I love you too.
Thank you.
Fine.
So this game is available on iOS and Android. It's one of those card games / match 3 type games. It's called Legendary Game of Heroes. And I really don't know how I got sucked into this game. I wish I could explain it, but I really can't. I think it got featured on the App Store at one point, and it has really cool artwork for the cards that they use in the game. And there was a cute little story about how the developers' kids designed some of the heroes that are used on the cards. So, and when I say that, though, don't think that the cards are cutesy or anything. Obviously, someone else comes in and makes them pretty badass, and many of the female heroes are very well proportioned for the demographic. So
you're saying the kids didn't do that?
No, but they come up with some of the ideas for, I guess, some of the heroes, and that's in my memory how I first got connected to this game that I thought that was a cool, cute story. And that's when I downloaded the game, and I don't think I really played it for a while. And I must have been extraordinarily bored one day because I started playing it. And I really like match 3 games, but I really haven't played a whole lot of the card type games where you collect a particular deck of heroes that you're battling against other people for. This isn't specifically against other people until you get into joining a guild and playing Guild Wars. So how this works is you collect cards of particular heroes. Every month they have this event with a theme, and then every week they have different smaller events that they coincidentally have decks that will help you win in these events, but you usually have to pay for them. And they do a really good job of funneling people into putting out a couple bucks here and there to get either gems to buy a card, or they have this really neat system where you never know what you're going to get. You pay in your gems, and then, it's a free-for-all. You're pulling from the vault, quote unquote. Y'all can't see my air quotes there. And there's no telling what card you're going to get at that point. Sometimes you get lucky, and a whole lot of other times you're like, that's a crap card. I don't need that. And you've spent all these gems, i.e. money, on it. So again, this is the basis of my love-hate relationship with this game. I really enjoy aspects of it, but it's got to be one of the most expensive games on a phone that I've ever played. So I have to rein myself back and go, nah, I'm not spending money on this game this week. You can play without having to put money into it, but you're gonna have to play for a while to build up and get into a guild, and then rely on your guild to gift gems to you or other things to help you evolve your cards. So your basic gameplay is it tells you that you need a particular type of hero. The heroes are based on earth, air, fire, water, light, and dark. And it'll tell you what type of hero you need and any special abilities that will help you. And then you kind of rummage through all the cards you've collected, trying to come up with ones that will work. Or you can just pour in a bunch of money and buy the deck they have for sale that week. Then you match gems of the corresponding color of the cards to power up those cards and attack the boss that you're playing against. So every time you do that, you then get points that you then use to evolve your cards and make them more powerful. So it's pretty standard in that effect, but I've really been impressed by the developers in this game on how well they funnel people into putting money into it. So I've been playing this game for several months now. And I'm in a pretty good guild where we share amongst each other. You tell somebody you need gems or you need mana or you need something for this particular event. And usually somebody can give you at least a little bit. And that's basically what you have to do to try and not put money into playing this game, is to get into a good guild where people help you, which is hard in and of itself. So if anybody really wants to join my horror and play this game, hit me up and I can probably get you a space in our guild. Every guild has 30 slots. You can imagine in a game like this, a lot of people stop playing after they get in and they realize they're going to have to put money in at some point and they don't want to do it. So people cycle out of guilds pretty frequently. So a lot of guilds have openings, but you can play specifically from your guild. You get to play in Guild Wars, and that can be fun, but it's the same thing where you're playing your deck against someone else's deck, seeing how many of their heroes you can kill, and then you get points for that. And then at the end of the week, or actually those are every day, and at the end of the week, the big winner gets a prize pack. But it's legendary game of heroes if anybody wants to join the love-hate relationship with seeing really cool artwork and special effects and stuff, but it's expensive.
When you went guild shopping, how did you decide these are my people? This is the guild for me.
Y'all both know that I don't like people, So that's a hard decision for me to make. I played the game for a while and knew how to play the game before I went looking for a guild because, people suck, especially when you're playing a game like that. If you don't know how to play, people can get ugly. And I didn't want to get into that situation. But unfortunately, in this game, you have to join a guild before you can actually see what they're about. They put a little blurb up about what they're looking for. Some of them are real hardcore, as you can expect. They only want people that are playing all the time and really putting an effort into it and really trying to get maximum points. Others are just like my guild. Our little byline is, participation. That's all we want. We want people to, hey, show up, play in a few things and be around, and that's it. So I spent a couple of days going through the list of guilds that had available options, and this one kept coming up, and it just kind of spoke to me. And I'll tell y'all, the name of my guild in Legendary Game of Heroes is Black Cat Coven, and it just spoke to me. And I've been in, that was the first guild I joined, and I haven't left. I liked it. Everybody's friendly, and we only want people to participate.
Well, Black Cat Coven's one of Ted Nugent's best songs, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree, Mike.
I mean, I'm not that big into super conservative music the way that you are, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Trump supporter. Now, I do have to ask, Mel, are you worried? Because like you said, people suck and you're not a huge people person. Are you worried throwing it out there on the podcast that you're going to get a lot of people, using that as a way to get in your DMs now?
No.
Like, let me get up in that guild, girl.
They're gonna have to put money into this game. So if they want to pay to talk to me in this game, then hey, they can. That is one of the things. You are limited in the app as to how much interaction you can have with anyone playing the game. This is an international game. There's people from every country playing this game. My guild is mostly USA based. I think we have one foreign player that I know of. But you only can talk to people in your guild in the app. They have a separate app that's called the network app. It's just the people that made the game where you can talk to anybody in the game. And there's a nice little link directly in the app to that secondary app. So you can talk to anybody in the game, but inside the app, you can only talk to your guild.
See, once you start getting into guilds and everything, it sounded really interesting to me. That's where you kind of lose me. Corey my friend Corey tried to teach me Dungeons and Dragons once because I really want to learn to play, but it just seemed so daunting as somebody with no experience into it to get into it. So I went over, him and his whatever of dungeon people, big group of them were getting together to do Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. And so I went over to observe and hopefully pick a few things up. I got lost pretty quickly and just spent the rest of the night hitting on Corey's mom. So what's up, Corey's mom? So I never really learned it. So is this one of those things that if you're not familiar with this type of game, that's difficult to jump into?
No, it's basically just one of those match 3, any of the gym matching 3. That's your main component to the game, and then collecting the cards. And that's something that you do. The longer you play, the more cards you're going to get that are going to give you a better deck to play with. And so it can be kind of hard when you first start of not having the right kind of cards to play in an event, which is how they suck you into putting gems or money into something.
Gotcha.
But the guilds, my guild, that's one of the things I like about them. If you ask for help, somebody will try to help you. If you need a particular item to help evolve a card to the next level, most of us have we've got some players that have been playing for quite a while. So mostly somebody's going to have something that you need. You can also only gift items to people in your guild. So that's one of the reasons to kind of play nice with your guild. But there are some people out there, guilds, like I said, that are way more hardcore than the one that I'm in. But you don't have to know anything about the history of the game. The app that they made is pretty cool in that they have a story going on. But I really think most of the people playing the game have no idea what the story is going on. You get mana, they actually give you something if you'll read that week's story. And it's one little phone screen of text. But I don't think most people actually read it. They just click on it and go, yeah, I read this, so that they get their mana and go away. So I don't see a lot that people are really caught up in the story. I'm a nerd that I read most of the story, but honestly, I'll say it doesn't make a lot of sense most of the time.
Well, we know that Kelly's not a reader, so it's good to know that he can get that and still potentially get into the game. I also like the idea that you guys are helping each other out. You guys are better people than me already. I would never do that.
Duh.
Even in just like...
in just like set the bar high, buddy.
Even in like regular card games and things like that, I would cheat every opportunity that I can get. I was trying to teach the tiny humans to play rummy last week. I cheated my ass off with those kids. Stomp them into the ground.
Builds character.
They'll join a guild someday that'll come after you.
Yeah, and they'll be like, see, we play D&D now and you never learned.
Yeah.
What's up, Corey's mom?
So
I imagine she's still in the picture.
I'm kind of hoping she's not your recommendation for this week.
No, of course not. We're still on Mel's recommendation.
I pretty much I'm tapped out here. I think I've said everything I can say about it. I love and hate this game. I like my guild. I've got good people in there. It's got really cool artwork. It's fun to play when it's not trying to suck money out of you. So there you go. Legendary Game of Heroes. It's really cool.
Do you see all the jokes I didn't make about Mel's last statement? That's personal growth.
Yes.
Right
I know.
I
appreciate it.
Waiting for the whole series of comments you're going to make about paying people to talk to you. So I thought there was going to be something there, but
that popped in my head as well, but I said nothing.
Wow.
Okay.
That's very impressive.
I do appreciate that, Mike. Thank you.
I'm a classy
Save it
guy.
up for Kelly.
Yeah, it's true.
Awesome.
Kelly, would I be in your guild in whatever you were putting together?
That's a hard no. So
back to Corey's mom.
If I played
All right.
D&D, you could be in my D&D party. I would let you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mel. You would also have to teach me how to play D&D.
I'm not very good at it either. I haven't played since I was very young. But
Well, see, with Corey's party, it's a group of people who've been playing together for years. So they're just so far into it that I think it was a bad introduction to it. Not because they're not great at what they're doing, just as a novice, that wasn't the way to initially experience it.
Yeah, I understand. It's fun when you all get to start out at level 1 characters together, but when you're joining a party and they're all way overpowered for what you're doing, it can be very confusing.
So that could be a good, fun additional piece of content at some point in time, is to get 3 of us and maybe find a couple other people to do some live D&D games.
Oh, God.
I would love to do something like that. Have you guys seen any of the Truth or Drink videos online?
No.
They've been doing these for like a couple of years. There's a YouTube channel that started and they actually made they printed up the cards that they use so you can purchase them and play with each other. And basically it's like a truth or dare game, but you're asking the people, your friends or relatives you're doing with, these really personal, uncomfortable questions that they can either answer or take a shot if they choose not to answer the questions. I thought that would be a good thing for the 3 of us.
Oh, yeah, I'd be taking shots and then I'd pass out. So It wouldn't take very long. What happens? Is there a penalty for passing out?
Well, I mean, the videos are only like 2 minutes long, so I don't
Okay.
think they go that long. It's just a handful of questions. But I mean, if we were to fill a whole podcast with it, I'm sure we would be endangering our lives at some point.
So I'm not sure Truth or Drink's a whole lot different than Squat Cobbler, to be honest with you. I don't see a lot of difference.
Well, see, here's the thing, and I'm not sure if Mel's aware of this. I've been trying to get Kelly to do a podcast where we play Truth or Dare with the guests, and he does not seem into that. So maybe I assume it's the dare part of it that you're concerned about. So with Truth or Drink, we're taking the dare out, and you can just choose to do a shot.
Awesome. That sounds just great.
Yeah.
You heard it there, people.
Right. Sounds like a good way for me to get alcohol poisoning.
I feel pretty strongly that I'll come out on top in that because I had a really dark childhood, so I can drink.
Just let me know. I'll have to go get some vodka.
That's your drink of choice, vodka?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Why waste time? It's my motto.
I'm a 90s wine cooler guy.
They're okay, I guess. But
I don't think I've ever actually ever actually had one. They were so popular for a while, though. I just remember them being everywhere.
Yeah, so there's this thing called White Claw now. Have you heard of that, Mike? Since you're a 90s schooler?
I've seen them. I haven't tried it, though. I've had other, I believe it is seltzer water with alcohol, though, and I've had other alcoholic seltzer water. White Claw I have not tried, though.
Alcoholic seltzer water does not sound good to me.
I do drink a lot of seltzer water, so it does combine two interests of mine.
Okay.
Personally, though, if I'm going to get drunk, that's not what I'm going to reach for, probably.
Okay.
But we'll find out when we all play Truth or Drink together.
I think D&D would be better, but go ahead.
What's the worst that could happen, Kelly?
Oh, I don't know. It seems like bad things.
Possibly bad things, yes.
I mean, it's pre-printed questions, though, so it's not, I can't ask you the probing things the listeners really want to know.
Good.
He is also the only one that has this game, so we don't actually know what the questions are if he puts in new ones.
Says this.
Yeah.
I think when it was incredibly personal questions, that was when I kind of fell off.
So my recommendation will be short this week. Like most of you, I ran into the really common homeowner problem of not having a turntable in my merchandise room.
Okay.
As so many people have run into. So I have a few different turntables. I'm a big music fan, as anybody who has listened to anything that Kelly and I have done know. Lots and lots of vinyl in here. I have probably 5,000 or 6,000 records. So vinyl is frequently on. So we do have Echo speakers all over the house, the Amazon Echo speakers, for listening to the digital music, which is good because we can either confine it to certain rooms or combine rooms or even have it play throughout the house if we needed to. For the turntables, though, I'm trying to get a few in the doctor's office areas so that there's some different options depending on where you're at. And I wanted something for the merchandise room, but the merchandise room is something where you're really in and out of all the time and things are getting moved around. So I kind of wanted something that was sturdier, a little bit bigger, not something that I was going to spend a ton of money on because again, there are other turntables here, but I also didn't want one of the, and this isn't a knock on those, but something like the Crosley turntables that you would see at like Target or something like that for $20 or $30. Again, nothing against those. If you guys like those, that's great. I just wanted something that was maybe a little higher end than that, but not something where I was spending hundreds of dollars on it, but still kind of sturdy. And I came across the Victrola mid-century model, which is more of a furniture piece like the old antique record players were. Big wooden box that's takes up half of the table that it sits on. But I was a big fan of it, really impressed with it right off the bat. So I've seen mixed reviews of them online. The company's been around for a really long time, but I've seen mixed reviews of these turntables because they're not super high-end audiophile stuff. This isn't something you're spending $1,000 on and you would expect to sound like that, but some people apparently do expect it to sound like that. It does sound and work much, much better than the lower end model stuff that you would see at a Target or a Walmart. And again, nothing against those, just this hit the right mark that I was looking for. It also has a CD player for anybody who remembers what those are. And my personal favorite medium, cassette tapes. It does have a cassette player in there as well. I sent Kelly a picture to use, hopefully, in the blog post of this, of me playing the Troll 2 soundtrack on cassette on it. So, because I know Kelly's a huge Troll 2 fan, as he's mentioned over and again.
It cost me $3.99 to watch that piece of crap. Yeah.
Oh, that's the soundtrack we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, but I've moved on.
Yeah, he hasn't let it affect him.
Yeah, I'd almost blocked that movie out of my head. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, guys.
Oh my God!
If it makes you feel better, the cassette is green, so
that's nice.
Troll 2,
so I actually
featuring goblins. Go ahead.
So I actually didn't even realize it had a cassette deck on it when I bought it. I was just looking for something with a turntable. It also happened to have the CD player. It does have a radio on it. I honestly couldn't even tell you any local radio stations, so that'll probably never get used. But it is Bluetooth as well, which is good. So if anybody's doing the merch packing for us and they want to play something off their phone, they can. There is built-in speakers for it. They're decent, honestly, for what they are and for what the price range is. They're decent speakers. There is various audio jacks on the back though, so you could put higher end speakers on there if you wanted to. So if the sound quality is really not up to par for you, if you want something that's higher end, you could put better speakers on this. The turntable platter is decent. The only thing that I would say for people who are vinyl collectors like me, the one quibble you'll probably have with it, and this is actually something that will be a benefit to 99% of the people who would probably purchase it. It is a fully automated turntable. So the turntable starts spinning when you lift the needle up and drop it down onto the record. It is a lever that drops it down onto the record. It is not manual. For certain types of records, if you're a big vinyl collector, there are special edition records that have different types of grooves on them, have different speeds on the same record and things like that. And in order to get the most out of those records, you do need a fully manual turntable so that you can control where the arm and needle are going to go so that you can get to these different parts of the record. A manual turntable will not get you through parts of that record. 99% of the people, though, who may have an interest in getting a turntable will never come across that, and that will never be an issue for them. So it's really a minor quibble, but for my vinyl collector friends, it is something that I think is worth pointing out to them. Otherwise, though, for the price point of what it is, it's big, it's sturdy. It reminds me of the old, like, record players as furniture in your house kind of thing. Not quite as big, but large. It takes up a good amount of real estate. It's perfect for the room that it's in. The speakers are fine for the room that it's in. It's not a particularly big room. So we didn't need something that was going to, rattle the walls or anything like that. So I'm not going to be attaching additional speakers to it. It's more than getting the job done for the price point that it was. So I definitely recommend this for people who are looking for a turntable that's a little bit higher end than what you see for a lot of the consumer stuff right now, but don't want to drop $600, $700, $800 on a turntable.
So what is the price point?
So I actually got it on sale. This particular model I've been seeing online for around $150. I paid a little bit less than that. I found it on sale.
What's it called again?
It is it's the Victrola mid-century model.
Okay.
It's modeled off 1950s record players.
I was going to say, does it have the big horn?
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
I'm
Mike.
looking it up. Oh, it's cute.
So
I like it.
So, Mike, I have a Crosby turntable judge pants. So you know.
I wasn't, and again, I said I'm not judging, but we wanted something. Again, there's tons of vinyl here. Everybody around here is picky about how they listen to their vinyl. So I wanted something, and I needed something that was sturdier because there's people in and out of the room all the time. I actually like the look of the Crosby ones, the suitcase kind of look of some of them. I actually think those look cool. I'm sure the speakers aren't fantastic, but I'm sure you can also attach external speakers to those as well. But I like the look of them, but something like that would never work in that space because somebody's going to hit the table it's on and that's going to fall. So I needed something that was more substantial, but I really didn't want to put, like I said, $600, $700, $800 out on a high-end turntable that is in a room that's getting that much use. So this was the perfect middle ground for me.
Yeah, and it comes in espresso or a farmhouse color or a gray, looks like.
So Mel, what do you think? Did Mike go espresso or farmhouse?
Espresso.
That'd be my vote.
I'm going to say that's what it is. I didn't realize that there were other colors available. It is a dark wood. That'd be espresso, I would think.
Yeah, they're showing a gray too, but I would imagine espresso is the most common one. But if you are in the need of a light oak farmhouse color, everyone out there, it comes in farmhouse too. I like it.
So you don't like the Crosby turntables? That's what you're telling me, Mel.
I don't. Y'all know I'm not really into vinyl, so I don't have one. However, I inadvertently ordered some K-pop stuff, and I have like 7 vinyl K-pop.
So time out.
Oh,
time out. We gotta. So
I have vinyl K-pop, y'all.
So how does one accidentally secure vinyl K-pop? It's like, I slipped and fell and ordered vinyl K-pop.
No, and for the price of them, I had no idea they were actually albums. I didn't have any idea. They were supposed to be I thought they were little picture discs of the band. And when they came, it was in this huge box, and I opened it up, and yeah, it's vinyl. I was like, oh, I don't have a player for this. They never told me what it was. They just wanted me to buy it. And I went, okay.
Did they call you, or was this a direct Mel?
No. Maybe one of these days I'll talk about my my K-pop bands. I got into K-pop a while back. I'm sure y'all want to hear about my
amazing road story. Let me tell you about the time I got into K-pop. Well, started a while back.
It did. Okay. It did.
Okay.
So, I hate to be so cliched, but anyway.
Yeah, so you need to go through your fast vinyl K-pop collection there, Mel, and pick your favorite. And then I think that sounds like a really good squat cobbler where we can do an album review on Mel's favorite K-pop album. That'd be fun.
No, but they're all the same album. They just have a different group member on the front. See, that's why I thought there's just
how many copies of this album do you own?
There are like 7. There are like 7 of them. It was you get the whole
own 7 copies of the same K-pop record.
Same K-pop record. Yes.
That's amazing.
I know.
What is the name of this record?
I don't even know. Well, because I don't have a turntable to play it on. No, it's I'll tell y'all. It's an NCT 127 album, I believe. I don't remember which one.
Major.
So we need to review this, Kelly.
Pretty sure that the album's titled "Major Cash Inflow" for the band.
Yeah, basically, and that was the purpose of it. It was dirt cheap. And that's what it is. They get album sales, I think, for each one of those. But hey, we're going to basically give them away. So I had no idea what I was buying until they showed up. And I'm like, what do I do with this? There you go.
So you can go out and buy a turntable.
Yeah.
Kelly prefers the Crosleys.
Yeah, you can buy crappy Crosley or,
and not saying that.
Mike's super nice, much better than that. Whatever you like.
Well, I
turntable.
I do have a sizable CD collection still, but I don't listen to it. I don't know the last time I listened to a CD because I have it all on digital now. I have Apple Music.
Well, send those CDs to Mike because he's got to decorate a room. All right. Well, I will give anything else, Mike?
No, I think that's it. Hopefully you'll share the pictures so everybody can see what color I chose and see the beautiful green Troll 2 cassette.
Yeah, I might have trouble posting that. Well, we'll see.
I may have also, in a not at all shameless plug sort of way, shown the CD player holding a pagan CD.
That's a shocker. There we go.
Totally acceptable.
Okay, so my recommendation is something that I intentionally bought and planned to. This is what I wanted, and it was to kind of go full circle. There's a bit of a love-hate relationship I have with it as well. And it's the Netgear Orbi Tri-Band Whole Home Mesh Wi-Fi system. So on way back in the day on a Nurture and Support, Mel and I discussed that we had cut the cord here and had jumped off a cable and gone to streaming only using Sling. And we're a very Wi-Fi dependent household these days. And there were some limitations, and I think another recommendation I made at some point dealt with a whole home network where you could use these little plugins to leverage the electronic wiring in your house and basically kind of create Ethernet connections throughout your house and get a pretty good connection that way. As we continued to build things, and we've got a Tableau for grabbing antenna signals and local stations, got Sling, got all kinds of other things going on with the lighting and all that kind of stuff. So a reliable, strong Wi-Fi throughout the household was important. And all of a sudden, my whole home network started dropping on a regular basis. And that's one of the challenges with this, depending on what's kind of running through your electronics at that point in time, that occasionally you might lose signal and do some of those things. So it started to become remarkably unreliable. So I said, maybe it's time to kind of up our kind of Wi-Fi process. And I'd heard about the home mesh networks, and it seemed like a good way to go. There were a couple pretty good options out there. I went with the Orbi. Not entirely inexpensive. It's around $200 on Amazon Prime. However, if you do not have an Amazon Prime store card and you want to get one of those, no annual fee, by the way, it drops down to $50. So it's actually a pretty good deal. And what you get is a kind of central hub router and then 2 satellites with this 3-pack that you get for $200 or $50 if you do the Amazon thing. And it just lets you really kind of amp up your Wi-Fi throughout the household. And net, I'm pleased with it. It has really addressed the antenna Tableau stuff is fantastic because each of these satellites also contains a Ethernet jack out of the back of them. So I can kind of connect that into the Tableau, and I have a much better signal from there. And through the 3 floors of the house and all that, we can get pretty good signal all the way across. It's a tri-band, and this is where I'm not a big network guy, and this is where I get a little bit confused because I'm familiar with the 2 gig and the 5 gig networks that go out to kind of connect. So what you get a better throughput with the 5 than you do with the 2. But the 2 has a better range. But what it has turned out is like all the other cool gadgets you can get, like, oh, I want to go buy a Wi-Fi connected outlet. All those run on 2.4. That's basically all they run on. And because this is a tri-band and it just kind of cycles in and gives you the best band it can, you can't really connect the things very well until you go in, and this was based on a lot of research that I had to do. I have to go in and turn down my 5 signal, and then take the device I have and move it far away from the router so that I guarantee that I'm at the lower bandwidth process to actually do the connection. Once I get everything connected, all the lights and outlets and all those things can kind of work. But depending how big your abode is and how much coverage you need to do, something like this is really handy. Like I said, I'm not a network guy, and one of the things I want to put a caveat on this because I'm sure I've probably done something horribly wrong here. They talk about, so let's say you have a modem that is both a router and a modem, which is what I have. They say, well, you go ahead and shut the radio signal off the modem, and you connect it to the Orbi, and then you need to bridge from the modem to the Orbi, and then it'll act as your router as well. I didn't do that. I just connected it, turned it on, and it worked. I don't think I'm officially bridged yet, but it's working, and it's working really solid, and we're getting things through the house. But when you get in a situation where you really need to amp out, there's a couple good options out there. The Orbi ultimately was the one I went with. Another thing that I'm mildly confused on is they said, well, a downside of the Orbi is that you have this kind of central router that connects to a satellite, and then that satellite connects to the next satellite. So it's more of a linear connection versus that central connection independently connecting to the satellites. So that's what they say, but I'm independently connecting to the satellites. So it's pretty cool. Got the connection there, but it's really created a situation where I've got much better Wi-Fi throughout the household. I'm not having the drops that I was getting with the whole home network kind of through the electrical system. And so I've been able to kind of have the antenna connected, all the Roiku's running through the house, game systems, and so that's all kind of worked out really well. And then, of course, all the Philips Hue and all the other kind of additional connections that I want to kind of have from a home automation standpoint. So again, depending on your situation, and I think Mike, given the fact you're in a compound, you might want to look at something like this. This is a good way to kind of extend your Wi-Fi network out. Like I said, it is super tricky because when for my 3D printer, I added an outlet, a Wi-Fi controlled outlet, and a camera so that if my print's going bad, I can shut it off remotely and not waste any more filament. And when I brought this in, it took me a couple days to eventually be able to actually connect that because it's very, very hard to find a 5 outlet. You've got to go with the 2. Those have been a bit of my challenges, but it has been super reliable. I'm not getting drops anymore. It is a complete pain in the butt to try and connect when you get the kind of more cost-effective smart lights. Those all tend to run in 2.4 as well. And so it's a bit of a hassle. I've had to take lamps downstairs, get them connected, and then take them back up to where I want them. But once I'm connected, I'm good. So it is a pretty handy thing. I do recommend, if you're Wi-Fi dependent, eventually looking at, and you've got a couple good options out there. I am ultimately pleased with the performance of the Orbi beyond the fact of setup for some of the lower bandwidth devices are a pain in the butt to set up.
Cool. I've heard good things about the Orbi. I don't have one.
It comes with some nice security, too, in terms of it'll kind of report out if there were bad URLs trying to hit different parts of your network. It captures those and stops them and does a lot of that. You're able to kind of see every single device connected in your home. You can disconnect them if you want to. You can kind of monitor from there. So it's a pretty rich service. But like I said, some of the setup is a little bit challenging when you've got to go with the lower gigahertz process.
Yeah, you're more technological than me. I don't have any smart lights.
He has a Crossley. He's not that.
Oh, yeah.
Shut up.
I still have to use I still have to turn the little knob to turn my lamps on.
Savage.
Yep.
I know. I'm in the wilds of Texas, Hey, I'm happy I have pseudo internet again, so I won't complain.
Yeah, I can do the super exciting things of talking into the home assistant and asking it to turn all the lights off and turn all the lights on, and yay. That's kind of
the
fun.
modern day clapper.
Yep. I don't have to clap. All I have to do is say, "Hey, Google."
We have the Echoes here, and there is 7 or 8 of them or something like that.
Echoes, the poor man Google. Yeah. The Crosley of home assistants.
But we have like 7 or 8 of them now, and there's going to be more coming because we need one for the tiny humans room and for the guest room. So basically, there will be one in every major area of the compound. So we cut the cable cord a long time ago, but at that time we were in an apartment that was for Philadelphia, a very large apartment. It was probably 700-800 square feet, something like that, which again for Philadelphia is gigantic. Our apartments tend to run in the 300 to 400 square feet range, so it was almost like twice the size of a normal apartment. So now the compound itself, the entire property, I believe, is 6,000 square feet, or a little more than 6,000 square feet. It's a little bit bigger than the apartment was. We don't have cable, but we do pay a substantial amount for the business class internet options and all that to make sure that everything is covered that we need. And because there's 8,000 devices in here that are connected to everything, because not just all the smart home stuff and everything running off of Wi-Fi, but of course everybody has phones and tablets. And then doing everything in the studio, there's like 30 Wi-Fi devices in here, and nothing at all in the house is hardwired. I'm not a fan of that because I like things to be able to be moved when they need to be. So we hardwire nothing. The one problem that we've run into, even paying for the higher end service, there is one area in the living room that is a complete Wi-Fi dead zone. We've tried moving the router. So the easiest place to put the main router is in what is the like laundry utility kind of room. They ran the wires. So the wires are behind the houses on our street. There's like a long drive that goes behind the houses because we are right off of a major road. So they don't put them on the major road. Everything's behind the houses. There's a long drive that goes up, and then there's a telephone pole in our little parking lot area, and they run the wire for the cable from that to the house because there's nothing else to do with telephone poles these days. So they run the wire into there. So it's the easiest place to get to. But even we've tried moving the core router around. There's just nothing you can do to get Wi-Fi in that spot. And unfortunately, that's where the TV has to go. The living room is an odd shape because this entire building or property or whatever you want to call it was at one point was all offices. There was no house part. So it had been a few different practices here, and the last doctor was a chiropractor, so he didn't need 30 offices. So it's 2 floors. The top floor he converted into a house. So it has living room, dining room, kitchen, 3 bedrooms, some closets. He's the one who converted it to that. So the living room is kind of what was like a waiting room in one of the offices. So it's kind of an odd shape, not the way it would have been designed if it was originally a house. So there's really only one spot you can put the TV because of the way it's all sort of situated. And our door is hinged in reverse than the way a door normally is because they needed to be able to get wheelchairs through. Because of it being a doctor's office. So our door is hinged the reverse way. So you're very limited on where you can put it. And that's the one spot that doesn't get Wi-Fi. So we bought a really expensive Wi-Fi extender that gets us just enough to be able to watch TV in there. But if you try and add anything else in the living room, you get nothing. So we've tried putting smart lights in the living room, nothing at all. You can turn the light on and off, but you cannot voice control it whatsoever. So I don't know, maybe this is the solution that I've been looking for it.
Yeah, it could work.
It could work. I mean, like I said, I was super happy with the whole home network for a long time. You're talking about, I think, $50 to get a set of them, and you just pop those into an outlet and, connect it to your router, and then you go to the next room that you want to and plug it into there and drop another Ethernet cable off of that. And it was super reliable and did a good job for a long time, but then we started to run into all sorts of drops, and I think it just had to do with it. So I don't know how, if your wiring's solid in your house and the complex, it doesn't have too much stuff going on, it might be a slightly more cost-effective way to go. But the Orbi is also definitely worth a look because you could kind of chain those satellites together and you could get a really good signal. Like I said, beyond the fact of the setup of 2.4 gigahertz stuff is a bit of a hassle because because it's a tri-band, and I don't know what the third band is. This is, I kind of know this stuff, but I don't. It says it's a tri-band. I go, well, I only know of 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and so what's the deal with that third band? But it doesn't let you, the modem I used to have had 2 very discrete channels, and I could connect either the 2.4 or the 5, and in the new environment, it just does whatever it can with whatever, and so you have to kind of monkey with it. And my guess is a lot of your if you got smart lights and all those types of things, they're running at 2.4. But it's worth a look, and the trick will just be to get far enough away, drop the 5 gigahertz signal way down, and you can do it. But if you end up going that way, let me know, Mike, and I can kind of go through my painful process I went through to get everything working.
Yeah, because I've been trying to figure out something because I really want to get lights in the living room, things like that. You can illuminate. So we do have a light in there that you have to touch with your hands like an animal. And then
so are the only things you touch with your hands those animals, Mike?
And then the living room does get decent light. Our one wall that faces out to the street is just all windows, so you get good light during the day, and then our dining room opens up into the living room, so you get the lights from the dining room and all that, so it's not that big a deal. But I would like to just have a smaller light in the living room, and occasionally we do lose a signal to the TV. It's most of the time it's fine. Every once in a while though, you'll lose it for a few minutes, and it's frustrating when that happens. What's odd though is, I can add 100 devices to the network that we have, and nothing slows it down, and nothing, it's just that area. And I've even gone as far as to say put my phone or my tablet on the Wi-Fi network. I can step outside, which I have to walk through that area, that Wi-Fi dead zone, to step outside to go out the front door onto the ramp, and I'll have Wi-Fi past there. So it's just that however many square feet of the living room. It's really bizarre.
Is that the room you have heavily soundproofed?
No, not unless it was done that way while it was a doctor's office. There's no soundproofing up there. There's soundproofing in the studio where I'm at now, and that's fine. I have 30 Wi-Fi, but there's the most Wi-Fi devices here.
Is the pit in your household heavily soundproofed or not?
But yeah, I've wondered, not soundproofing wise, but when they either did the construction or when it was a doctor's office, is there something weird behind the walls that's blocking that?
It's probably just haunted.
You can contact us on our website, nurtureandsupport.net, or email us at nurtandsupp@gmail.com. That's NURTANDSUPP@gmail.com, or tweet us at nurtandsupp on Twitter. You can also catch Nurture and Support on YouTube. Just search Nurture and Support or Kelly Tool.
Nurturing and supporting. Turn it.